Welcome all, Kev the Movie Dealer here, and today we're going to do a non-spoiler review of Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu. Now, to be honest, I went into this movie with low expectations. With all the reviews I was seeing, I wasn't expecting much. Just some random movie that Disney wanted to make just to sell more Grogu merchandising. And don't get me wrong, I am a huge fan of the first two seasons of The Mandalorian. I think that show and Star Wars Rebels is probably the best thing Disney has done with Star Wars in terms of television. But the fact that the story seems so random and will have no real impact to the Star Wars story, my attitude for the movie was more like, okay, I guess we can go see it, why not? I didn't have much excitement for it, but last night I went in, and what did I think of it? I had a real good time with this movie. Now yes, all the problems I've been hearing about is correct, and I'll get into that later when we dive into the negatives, but overall, I think it's a fun time at the movies, as long as you know what the movie is going into it. You see, about 30 minutes into the film, I started to realize what this movie was actually going for. It's not like your other Star Wars movies like New Hope, Revenge of the Sith, or Rogue One, where the lead character goes through a massive growth or change. That's not what this movie is. You gotta think of Mando like you would with other certain characters like classic James Bond, Indiana Jones, Jack Sparrow, or John Wick. Movies with lead characters that don't have a true character arc, but you go because you want to see their next adventure. And with the tone and all the monster designs, I started to get a hint of Peter Jackson's 2005's King Kong film. So then it hit me. The Mandalorian and Grogu is a mixture of Indiana Jones meets King Kong. And when I realized that, I was having a blast. So let's talk about the positives of the movie. When you're diving into the best parts of this film, there is no way you are not going to discuss Ludwig Göransson's score. It is absolutely incredible in this film. The music really did feel like a character within the story. It was a sense of music style that we've never really heard in the Star Wars universe before. At times, it had kind of a Stranger Things techno vibe to it. Just made the film, for me, feel more cinematic. And the action of the film, which really is a huge selling point of the story. If the action sequences did not work, the movie would truly fall apart. And for the most part, huge round of applause for Jon Favreau and his production team. Great set pieces and amazing choreography. The first 10 minutes of the film is basically selling you what the whole movie is going to be. And the swamp creature sequence that you've seen in all the trailers is amazing. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. And you would think, how would Mando not die in 5 seconds with this giant serpent-like creature in this tiny little space? But how they wrote and shot it was very believable. 10 out of 10 scene. I also think the movie was shot very well. It had that cowboy grit to it that I really appreciated. And it generally looked like a movie, not a Disney Plus show. And I gotta give it up to Grogu. They did such a great job with him in this movie. He definitely got his moment to shine. There's a point in the film where Mando is unconscious for a while. And not only does Grogu have to take care of Din, he also has to protect the both of them. And it kind of felt like a short story within the movie, and it just worked for me. And made me respect Grogu more as a character. So those are my main positives, but this is not a perfect film, so let's get into the negatives. First off, didn't Grogu hang out with a lot of fully CGI characters? And I'm not saying the visual effects are bad, but they could be a little better. Which leads us to Rada the Hutt, the son of Jabba the Hutt. This character, who is pretty much like the third string character of this film, he really didn't do much for me. Kind of came off as a one-dimensional type character. He literally said in 2 different scenes that were back to back, "I'm not my father, I'm my own man." And that's about it for this character. And I was a little confused because we learned that Rada was kidnapped and forced to be a slaved fighter. But for some reason he has a contract. Since when do slaves have contracts? It was a little weird. And I can't help to admit, when he first showed up, this very muscular slug fighting in this giant arena, really couldn't help to laugh on how silly it all looked. I didn't hate the character, but he probably could have been done a lot better in the writing. Then with the story structure, I do agree with the critics that it does feel like 4 episodes of The Mandalorian in just one movie. And I think one of the reasons why that is that we never really go away from Mando and Grogu. We don't cut away to a different scene, which I think would have helped them a great deal. Like, I'd say we cut away to other characters like the Hutts or the Republic. The whole movie we really just spend with Mando and Grogu, like the show. And within the movie, the characters are put in a lot of different environments and in situations that can kind of feel a very episodic way of storytelling. Also, little nitpick, the 2 giant robots, that whole action sequence felt very unnecessary. Like, that was the point of the film. I was thinking, this needs to start wrapping up soon. Then right after that fight sequence, we got the big boss fight. And I was just sitting there thinking, what was the point of the robot fight if we were just gonna get into another action sequence right after that? So that easily could have been cut. But like I said, that's just a little nitpick. Guys, overall, this was a Star Wars movie that was trying to do something a little different, and I had a great time watching it. And I haven't felt that way about a Star Wars movie since 2008 Solo, and that was 8 years ago. This was a Star Wars movie I could see myself watching again in the future, and that's all that matters to me. Look, guys, that's my overall thought of the film. I thought it was a good time in the theater. It was a flawed movie, but overall, I had fun. Comment below, tell me what you guys thought of the movie. Hit that like and subscribe button. I generally do want to hear what you guys think. Tell me about your positives, your negatives of the film. Would you want other people to watch it? Would you see it again? Would you buy it on streaming, digital? Like I said, comment below, tell me what you guys think. Alright guys, that's enough for me today. Ciao.